So we'd like to call to order the Recreation Committee meeting of Tuesday, April 10th, 2012. We'll start off with the invocation by Councilman Malonzo and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day. We ask that you would guide our minds and guide our tongues and just be our wisdom as we make these decisions for the recreation of this parish. We thank you and praise you for all this. In Jesus' name, amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to remind the public if anybody wants to sign in, they have to fill out a public speaker card. Go to number 4 on the agenda, the Recreation Report by Director Garney Gotro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee members. I'd like to introduce the staff that's here tonight. I have Michelle Tompler, who is the program coordinator for the Sanamo Park. I have Beth Bertrand, who is the coordinator for the program coordinator for Lamar Dixon. I have Aja Mitchell, who is coordinator in Dawsonville. The first thing on the agenda was the Lowry Park, status of Lowry Park. In 2010, we placed 2 new playgrounds at Lowry Park, 10 and 11. We built a smaller one and then a larger one to match together, all put it together. Then in 2011, we built 2 new pavilions at a cost of $42,895. And for this year, we're planning on building a new handicap accessible restroom. These restrooms, we use them in all the parks the same way so that everybody has exactly the same kind of restroom no matter what park you go to. You're not going to have anything different. You know, they're all going to be handicapped with a little a small porch on them. And we're submitting plans to the fire marshal for this restroom and handicap restroom. And it usually run the one that we built last year, 2 we built last year was like $25,000. I'm sure they're probably going to be a little bit higher. Any questions on that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Joseph.
Yeah, going. Once again, good job on all the other things. What is this actual status? What time frame? I know I've been asking for this bathroom for a long time, and it started out November, December, January,
Yeah.
February, and now all of a sudden now we hear about the fire marshal approval.
Right,
You
it's
know.
the same. We had the plans drawn up about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's Sanamo Park. But every time we build another park, we got to go back and get them approved. You know, for that particular park.
Next question on walking trail. That's the other part of it, of the that park. What is our status on that walking trail?
We try to get to it maybe June and July. You know, as soon as we do the restrooms. I know you have that money put aside. You already put aside before. Yeah, we biting away at it.
Well, I mean, the park is being used right now on
Right.
weekends, and we have a portalet out there right now, but the park is really being used, and
Right.
we'd like to speed that up if
Sure.
all possible
Sure,
to get that restaurant in there. And then
we should have that back by the end of the week. You know?
Okay.
And we already have the specs and everything. All we got to do is get the 3 quotes
Okay.
to do it.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody else? The next one is status of Jackie Robinson Park. And last year we replaced the roof, replaced all the rotten woods around the building, the concession stand, and the restrooms, and we repaired the lights on the ball field. It was $8,000 something, and we've taken, we're having trouble in almost all our parks with the lights being turned on at night and everything else and all. And we built a wooden, we've taken the chain link fence that was around the lights and all, because they've been pulled apart, and we put a wood fence all the way around it with a roof on it. And we're going to do that at all our parks and all right now, so we can secure them. They'll turn them on, leave them on all night. And if it's on the weekend, sometimes it stays on Friday and Saturday. We're going to have to come up with some kind of way to have personnel to start going out to the park. You know, like at night, be sure everything's turned off, everything is locked up. and start closing the parks at 10 o'clock, but we just don't have enough manpower to do it. There's a fence along the north side of the park that really needs to be fixed. They had to take a bridge out on the street behind it, and they used it, the part to come through to get to the houses in. And the fence on the end of the ball field is messed up. We got to fix that, and we're also going to replace the fence along the side next to that neighbor's house. Not on Dave Miller's side, but the other side. Any questions?
Any?
Yeah, go on. Is this the adult, we have the adult lead out here, softball, or what age?
Softball. Well, we have a young guy that he's the coach at Santa Monica Middle School. He works with some kids out there like 3 or 4 days a week. Does a super job with them. But then we have people that come out there and do scrimmage games, and we have trouble sometimes with just having a full-blasted tournament out there. And Michelle met with the little guy, and I think we've got all that worked out. I talked to Mr. Travis about it before, and we met with one of them, and I think we got all that worked out where we shouldn't have that issue anymore.
I just have one question. The Jackie Robinson Park, that's the one near my residence.
Sure.
I know a couple of my constituents have talked about the swing sets being redone in that park, and also getting more dirt brought to that softball field. I said a lot of the dirt, I guess, as eroded away.
What we need to do, Travis, but like I say, they use it, they don't use it, but we could cut away the bases, and put river sand and red clay into them, make a circle around all 3 of the bases, home plate, and also the pitcher's mound. That would help a lot too. But we'll do that. I'll report to y'all, I guess. We can have a meeting every month now. How y'all want to?
You're doing one once a month.
Once a month, okay. All right, I'll report back to y'all on that.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Joseph.
Going in, when you say you have worked out the something out with the guy with tournaments or whatever, is what type of agreement? I mean, I have some people ask me that in the Modest Park, and
Yeah, if they use the lights, we rent the fields. Like if they're having a tournament, more than 2 teams, we rent the fields for $250. For them to use the park and turn the lights and all on. We have some that have scrimmage games, and that's where we've been having trouble. But the main thing we're having trouble with is alcohol, and we have that in all the parks. And last year we had to hire a policeman to come out there. President Martinez okayed it for us to bring a couple of policemen out at some of the parks to be sure that everything was under control. And I'm not going to go out there and tell them all, look, you got to put the lick up, because it's just, that's not a good thing to do,
but no, the rule is if you have a tournament, you can lease the field,
yeah.
basically.
Right, oh yeah.
Okay.
Right. Where we have trouble is where they just show up on a Saturday afternoon and Saturday night till 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then about out there all day Sunday. And we come back, and I think did I show you all the pictures of one of the parks, like after it happens? And our next, I'll bring you up to date on some of that stuff too, what we face every Monday morning at the parks.
Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
Councilman Satterley.
Mr. Gautreaux, this contract for the $250 that you mentioned to Councilman Joseph, is that, I assume that's some sort of a boilerplate type of an agreement that the parish has. What would be the chance as a newcomer that we could get a hold of that and take a look at it? Is there a chance we could get a look at what this contract looks
Sure.
like?
Well, okay, and what also I've got to bring to y'all is a complete list of all our charges and everything else for the whole parish. So we have motions, what y'all call them, ordinances and all, and we just got to get them all together, and that's what we'll present y'all the next meeting with all the different charges and everything, so we can get everything on one line. Like we got maybe 2 or 3 ordinances, some of them are motions, and then some of this I said, you said, we said, and we're getting everything together. Well, I'll present it y'all at the next meeting.
I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
The next thing is the Dara Park. We done some work at on the fields last year, 2011, and I don't have the price down here, but it was almost $7,000 2012, Mr. Turner and I had talked and all about the lights being out at there on 2 or 3 poles. They finally was able to go out there today. They left Rush, and I told them, don't worry about the Rush, just go ahead and get the lights fixed. And we should get the bill on that. And along the north, let's see. What's bad, the wiring is old. Everything is like 25, 30 years old, and all the fields and everything. And we have something further down. I'm going to go over with y'all also about the lights. But the ballasts and the bulbs, everything. The bulbs cost us $60-something, and the ballasts are $200-something now. Since we got the bucket truck, we was able to, with the council and President Martinez, we was able to buy a bucket truck and on thirds with major drainage and DPW in the parish. And we do a lot of stuff ourselves and all, but some of the stuff we can't do, and we have to bring in someone to do it. But first, the bulbs changing the ballast, we started doing that this year. We went through, and let's go further down, we went through $30,000 with Sun Electric last year. When our bucket truck was down three weeks, you know, that we went through, had to spend. Any question on that?
Yeah, I have 2 questions. As far as I know we had discussed before the community center in the Darrow Park having a part-time employee. I want to see the status of that. And my second question is, some of the residents have brought up the concern about the basketball court that's there. It has those poles around it. You know, I feel the same way when I look at it myself. It seems to be kind of a hazard because the poles are maybe 2 or 3 feet from the court, and if a kid is out there playing and running full speed, not paying attention, or even if he is, there's a chance he can hit one of those poles. Trying to see, is there any way to get those poles pulled up?
Can we move them back some, or it really helps keeping instead of having a big old chain link fence out, it helps from letting them drive the cars all over.
It'll probably be better because they're kind of close to the course. I'm thinking if they could be moved back,
We can move
that
them
would
back.
probably.
There's a big pecan tree right in the middle of the parking lot, and we're gonna get with DPW to get them to take that tree completely out, and then we're gonna make it a whole parking lot for the whole area. You know, that's how we're gonna get some reclaim and all. But we find the post, it keeps them from being able to drive cars all the way through there and all. And I mean, we can take them out if that's y'all's wishes and all, but it works everywhere else and all. You can't drive a car through them, and they're not expensive. And the chain link fence, I mean, they'll just pop that chain link fence and hit it. You know, we find it works, but we can move them back.
Okay.
You know, what 8 foot? You want to put them 10 foot from the court?
I guess go out. I'm assuming
I'll
10 foot
get-
would probably be good, but you can go out there and just.
I'll get
take-
Richard and them to go out there and we'll measure it and put it, fix them up. We will. Sure.
And the second question was regarding the part-time work at the community center there in Darrow.
Yes. President Martinez and I and O'Neill and Mr. Parrington met the other day on it, on how we can fund it, you know, and all. I have money in the budget for $20,000 for contract labor and all, but they may have to end up being a part-time employee because of the insurance and everything, and we should have that straight for y'all, you know, and we're gonna do it at Gosma, Darrow, and at Oak Grove.
And we'll be around the turnaround time on hiring those part-time employees to work at those parks.
I talked to Ms. Kinchin the other day. She's waiting for us to tell her how we're gonna pay them.
Okay. All right. Okay. I don't think anyone has any other questions.
The status of the recreation contract with the parish in the city of Donaldsonville. The parish, Donaldsonville approved it the other day, and I have it on Thomas' desk, you know, waiting for his signature. It's a 3-year contract to be renewed every year, and every 3, yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Lambert?
And this is the agreement similar to what we had worked out before going
Yeah,
in?
3 years ago.
The 3 year, yeah, and I
Oh,
think
it's not 3
everything
years,
is,
every year.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And there was some stuff said at one of the meetings and all, and by the director, and all we put was a coordinator. And every meeting I went to with them until, I got blasted at one of the meetings. Oliver Joseph was there, Councilman Joseph was there also, you know, was always a coordinator, you know, and I think we have a good coordinator working for us. And That was one of the issues that I think they brought up. And we've had trouble with, like I say, we got off to a rocky start. We had a meeting in President Martinez's office. Councilman Oliver Jules was there, some of the council members and the mayor, on what we wanted with associations running our league. We give them a place to play. We give them equipment. We give them umpires, and we give them insurance. And the association runs almost 95% of all our programs and all. And we had a new organization started this year. The old one wasn't. Anyway, they had a meeting and they got a new association, and things went rocky, both, you know, in baseball to start off with, and basketball also towards the end. But you know, it's we knew when we come on it would take us 2 or 3 years. But evidently, Downsville is not satisfied with the way things going, so we're gonna look at this thing in September again, and we'll make a decision whether to come back, you know, to renew it or not.
Councilman Joseph.
Yeah, the current contract, just to briefly say it, is the city of Downsville, we don't have a copy of it, and that'd be something, because we have to approve it through recreation before we go to full council. It's a renewal, and be nice for these new councilmen to know what it says. The other thing is that the city in that contract, I don't know that the agreement changed or anything, or how much money the city paid the parish.
Stayed the same.
Stays the same?
It's exactly the same we done whenever they done it the first year.
Okay. And my next question is, when you say coordinator, you know, I get a lot of beef with the West Bank coordinator. Exactly what's that coordinator responsibility is on the West Bank? And I'm just, you know.
Running the programs we have in place, finding new programs. We had an Easter egg hunt last Saturday, or Saturday before last, and all, and it was really well attended. She's going right now with the Hershey tracking and stuff we have every year now, and she's just always trying to get some kind of new programs to put in, so it's just not about baseball, basketball, and softball.
Well, and I guess that's where, you know, I'm a little confused now. You know, when you say program, she can do all those programs, but she can't, you know, you say she can, and I hate to say Miss Aja that way, but baseball, that's not a program, that's an individual group. Basketball is an individual group. We don't consider a sport activity a program.
Well, she oversees it. I mean, she does a lot of PR, goes to the park. Last year in baseball, she was at the park, you know, almost all the time.
And I guess that's where the basketball problem comes in Donaldsonville on that behalf right there. Because, you know, they assumed that was going to be her responsibility, and, you know, that's where the bad taste is when it comes to that. You know, we you know, I say one thing. I say she is a facilitator. She managed all the facility, all the equipment and stuff like that, but not actually a, you know, program.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the public need to be more educated on, to be identified, so they can know that. And you know,
Sure.
I won't get those phone calls like, or Miss, or you, or the president, so we can have a clear picture of what her job description is.
We're working on something. I don't have it on here, but the old Downsville gym, you know, we're trying to get it. She wants to do a safe haven for kids during the summer, for them to be able to come in and do anything like games and everything else, and doing like an hour with educational food, you know, eating nutrition food and stuff.
Right.
You know.
So, and you know, I just want to at least
Sure.
try to make a clear picture of exactly
Right.
what her job is. Like I say, I get those phone calls
Sure.
chewing me
I get
out
some
about
of them
it.
too. Yeah.
All right?
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank
That's
you.
it. The next item is, I think, is all of the facilities we have. Status of baseball program, recreation plan for the Memorial Day. Okay, report on all recreation facilities. Keystone is a small park that they donated 2 acres of land to us in one of the subdivisions, and they also said there was before the plan is on it, they're going to give us $10,000 to work in it. We're starting to do the walk trail. Councilman Dempsey and Lambert got, I think, 2 people, Dempsey?
Yeah.
Councilman Dempsey? To donate all the concrete and everything else and all we have to do is frame it up. And whenever we do the concrete, we're going to try to frame up a pavilion and see if we can get enough concrete to frame up the pavilion also. And the $10,000, we're going to use that towards the playground equipment. And a walk trail we replaced around the park. This is more probably a 3-year plan, because like I said, we can do the walk trail now because all it's going to take is the framing up of the walk and all, and they're going to do the rest of it. Butch Gore Park, we have 2 new fields are being added now, and these fields, they will not be lighted, but it'll give us a total of 8 fields there, and we'll be able to host almost any kind of tournament, that some of the fields are not really big enough to do a great big tournament, but the way that they're using the fields and all right now, won't use the fields for the weekend and all. I mean, we will probably keep it rented every weekend once the parish is finished with them. Also, this is something we had talked about last year and we put on our budget. We have $170,000 in the budget. There's additional land available next to Butch Gore Park. It's 6.4 acres of land, and we would need that for parking and all. And at the next meeting, I'll bring it to y'all, with the maps and everything else to show you where it's at and all. But I just want to make y'all aware of it.
Councilman Lawson has a question.
Sure.
Mr. Gordon, about how much does it cost for us to light approximately just one of those fields?
More probably 100,000. We're looking at something we got some prices on the master plan. They're kind of looking at it, Lamar Dixon right now, and it's unbelievable how much everything costs because we use the creosote posts and the woodpeckers have pecked holes all the way through it and everything else and all. And we replaced some about 6, 7 years ago, and we need to replace when they put the wire on top of them, and that helped.
Okay. I was kind of wondering. I know you said y'all going to build the bigger fields at Butch Gore, and I know that was in talking with some people here in my district that were wanting to put on a big tournament. They were having some issues with the city, and we're looking for a place to put on some of these bigger tournaments that could be even a bigger bit of revenue for us. But
Sure.
it'd be hard for them to do that and without lighted fields as well, without being able to go into the night.
We have 6 lighted, but the other 2, we don't have the funds
Okay.
to do the other 2.
Councilman Salley has a question also.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Gotro, backing up just to Keystone, the $10,000 that you said is available from the developer for the playground system?
Well, it hadn't
Is
been
there-
paid yet. I scratched it, said it donated, but I scratched it off. It hasn't been given to us yet.
Okay, I was looking at your active verb, said we will install, so there's no time frame right now on when that work might begin?
No, the walk trail, yeah, because we can.
Do we need to be putting pressure on the developer in any way to get this money?
I think, Councilman, did you talk to them lately?
Yeah, I placed the call in. I think it's more or less, they ready to turn the funds over. So
Right.
they're ready.
Thank you.
Stevens Park, example of stuff being old now. I'll tell you about the fields being old, 25, 30 years old. We had to cancel the 7-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old, and 10-year-old teams tonight because we had a meter that went out, and the sun's coming tomorrow morning. We worked on it today. Our electrician couldn't do anything with it because of the way it is. So they coming out tomorrow morning and checking. We're gonna try to have it ready for them. We'll probably by Wednesday night or Thursday night.
Councilman Joseph.
Yeah, I know this problem had been an issue for a couple of years. I mean, I remember when I first got here, and I thought when we had like $700,000 surplus and we was going to put that in recreation, I thought that was going to correct this problem. I mean, we ran short of money somewhere else.
Oh no, we spent every penny to $700,000, you know.
Yeah.
And we could just with the lighting and all the parks and all right now, they almost really need to be redone completely, rewired everything, because, the wires are breaking off the top. The wire, whenever they stretch something in the ground, that's what happened at Jackie Robinson Park last year. The wires that broke in the ground.
Oh. Yeah, I just remember the baseball
yeah.
team coming and just, constantly on us on the lighting over there.
Yeah, well,
And I thought we had
yeah.
took care of that.
Yeah, what we do, we keep replacing.
Okay.
Like I say, the ballasts are $200-something, the light bulbs are 65, and like last year we had like 7 of them shot out at Butch Gore Park in one night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
The Laurel Ridge boat ramp, this is a boat ramp that we've been having for probably 6-8 years. We just renewed the lease on it for 5 more years, and DPW and the employees and all upgraded it for us. It's a real nice looking boat ramp. Now, PJ's Landing, this is something that we've been trying to get a boat launch or something in that area for 4 years since I've been here, most probably before then. And we had 2 or 3 different people we was going to buy, and then it always fell through. This is a 6.9 acres of land. This has a boat launch. It has a 40 by 45 or 40 by 80, 85 feet. I'm not sure exactly what the measurements are. And I talked to President Martinez, and he told me to go ahead and pursue it. And something that wasn't in the budget, but it's a super deal. With this boat ramp, more probably major drainage, everybody could have access to all the bayous and all from this area. It's all for 22. That's the map I gave to y'all, and it's the little part that's real black, dark right here. See, on the corner, and it's 6.9 acres, and there's it's off of Paul Road that runs off of Highway 22 in Sorrento. And you see the little dog, the little boot that's inside the property? Well, that right there is where you pull your boat in and you come off to the side, and that's where you launch your boats, right in there. And the Sportsman League has been after us. We've been trying to find something, and it's I would like for y'all to give us permission to pursue it. I know it's kind of hitting y'all. I'd call a couple of the council members. I think I told you, Travis, or did I tell you about it? Or fax you, or email you? I'm not sure.
No, it's new.
But this is really a good buy. We've negotiated with him. We got him at a real good price. And we're getting 2 appraisals right now. And one appraisal will come in yesterday, and none ought to be coming in more probably tomorrow on the property. I don't know whether I need to get permission from y'all to pursue it, for President Martinez to enter into a purchase agreement, and it's going to be subject to council approval and everything. Okay.
I'd like to comment on Garney, Councilman Todd Lambert. This is just another form of recreation. We've been talking baseball, basketball, we have all that. And the facility we have now is the parking is a big issue. We have limited parking where that boat launch is on the Laurel Ridge. And a lot of the people have came to me, I don't know about all y'all, but
Yeah, I've been here.
the boating facilities that we have in Ascension Parish, we have plenty of waterways, but the launches are very poor. So this would be a big plus. So if I know all the rec and the Sportsman League and all of them are in big favor of it. So it's definitely needed in the parish. Thank you.
Councilman Sally has a question.
Yeah, Mr. Gotro, the little boot launch area on the map that you gave us.
Sure.
Is that rectangle structure next to it, is that the building?
That's the building, yes, sir.
The 45 by 80 foot building?
About 40, it's either 45 by 80 or 40 by 85.
Just, briefly, what is that building constructed of? Is it
Metal, it's big I-beams. We'd have to do some work on the inside of it, but it's structurally sound.
has like maybe a tin roof or something?
Yes, it's all metal. The whole building is metal. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And we can, we'd have to put new ceiling tiles all in it. It's a hanging ceiling, and we'll probably take the sheetrock out and re-sheetrock it and all. But
Got a question, President Martinez.
Yes, this is, as Garney said, something we've been pursuing for many, many years. when we were in there last time, we had gotten a grant to actually build a boat launch on that canal, and never could get landowners to agree. And this became available. I can tell you that it appraised for over $300,000, and we talked to the gentleman, and we can get it for half price for $150,000. That's 7 acres of land plus the building. I think it's a wonderful opportunity, and it's a wonderful opportunity for the sportsmen in the area to have a launch here that they can access all of our waterways without having to go across the river, the spillway, or anywhere else to fish. They can fish right here in Ascension Parish.
Councilman Lawson?
I'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we authorize the parish president to enter into that purchase agreement, subject to council approval.
Second.
So moved.
Thank y'all very much. The skate park is complete. We're doing a fence across the back of it right now. I met with some of the neighbors, and they was complaining about the noise and everything else and all. But when I left, they was satisfied that what we're gonna do. So we put the posts up today, and they're gonna put the fence up Thursday. So that'll be completely finished by Thursday. Okay. Now, the next thing is,
You still on skate park?
yeah, yeah, we finished.
And how's things been working with Ms. Darlene with the council on aging? Is
Real
everything
good.
stable?
We had one issue since it's been there. The trash, we picked up the trash and all, but someone had cut across her parking lot and rutted it up, but we went back and straightened it all up for 'em.
Just to back up for a second, we need to take
Sure.
a vote on that, the motion by Councilman
Yeah.
Lawson.
All in favor?
Does anybody object?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I just jumped the gun. I was just tickled to death to get it. And like I said, the skate park is finished, and they're using it. The next thing is the recreation plans for Lamar Dixon, and Mr. Eric Postier will do that for us.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, committee members. My name's Eric Postier. I'm a landscape architect with SJB Group. About 4 years ago, we did an overall master plan to look at the feasibility of recreation on the additional 147 acres on the south end of Lamar Dixon. Specifically for recreation, we looked at baseball, football, soccer, a myriad of different things, and we produced a report for the parish. About a year ago, President Martinez requested that we come in and do some revisions to that original master plan that we had come up with and try to concentrate on providing activities in there that would be more income producing, looking more at specifically tournament fields as a highlight, as well as a place for the adult softball league to consolidate, looking at spray parks, looking at dog park. Eventually, would like to have swimming pool, natatorium, soccer fields, and so on and so forth. The first phase of this, what we're looking at right now, is to try and get some electrical infrastructure actually onto the site. I have worked with an electrical engineer, and we've come up with an option to allow the parish to get the base infrastructure for the electrical service to the recreation area of the park in there. And we're pursuing that in the hopes of producing construction documents and being able to build that, so that as phases of the park come online, whether it be ball fields, buildings, or what have you, the infrastructure is going to be there that can be added to as we move forward through the different phases in the park. There are a lot of different elements to cover. If you guys have any specific questions, I'd be more than happy to answer what I can.
President Martinez?
I think we're creating a citizens committee for that area, and Councilman Lawson is working on that. I think what we should do is let that committee come together and then come back with some recommendations
Right.
to the Recreation Committee, and I think that's probably our best way to pursue this.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that'll be a good kind of first job for them, and a way to get input from as many people as possible to see what people from around the parish would like to see done with it. I agree.
Councilman Joseph.
Yeah, Mr. Porsche, you know, I was on recreation many years ago, chairman of it, and we did a survey, and we spent, I think, about $10,000 to $15,000 on that survey.
Yeah.
I mean, all the work on this have been done. Basically, your plans have been done. The community involvement has been done. So I think we just need to bring that issue right back so everybody know what that plan was. I don't think anything changed from that plan. You know,
Not really.
I mean, you know, and one of the proposals was to go out to the parish and ask them, the community, if they wanted to pay for recreation itself. Because the funds, everyone know the funds on recreation is
Right.
1.5. That ain't, you know, we all know it's not enough money. And so, as far as getting this group together, I don't have a problem with it, but I mean, this information already has been assembled. All they have to do is review it. And I think this council, I mean, this recreation can review that plan, and the survey is on file, that they need to get a copy of it and review it, and then from there, move forward with it.
Has that recreation plan for it changed a whole lot? I've got a copy of it. I printed it out about a year and a half ago and looked at it and saying
No, I
that-
mean, some of the things shifted around a little bit, but the overall general theme or feeling of the park is basically the same. As things change and items pop up, there may be some things may, you know, jump in front of others and what have you, but substantially, it's basically the same.
I mean,
Councilman Lambert. Oh,
You finished?
I mean, I have just,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
mean, unless we know we're gonna get some other revenues, I mean, we back where, I mean, you can bring it up, but the bottom line is, it's funding. It's gonna come up. I mean, we thought we had a good plan, parish president plan, and we're going back to the drawing board to where we was 5 years ago.
Basically, I don't know if any of the new councilmen know this, but you don't have any dedicated recreation funds whatsoever. Basically, what happens, it used to be that recreation got 6% of the 1% sales tax. Now, it's up to 10% of the 1% sales tax, but that can change at any point. And that's the problem. You don't have any kind of substantial or anything that, you know, it's gonna, right now taxes are going up, but when taxes go down, your revenues for recreation goes down too. So, some point is gonna have to be addressed. I don't know when and how, but, in the future, you can't substantiate a recreation program, without any dedicated funding. And so, I mean, we have plans for a lot of things, but, again, you gotta pay for them, but, I think we have a really good plan for SJB. In the meantime, a lot of people are enjoying Lamar Dixon. You can go right out there any day. There's people fishing every day, enjoying it. There's some people with the model airplanes out there today. In the afternoons, you'll see, you know, soccer team practicing, football team practicing, baseball team practicing. So we have a lot of available land there, and it's all high land. None of it's wetlands, and that's what we need to utilize. And when we do a master plan for it, which we do have now, we need to make sure it's done the right way, because you're only going to get one bite at the apple. You don't want to just kind of piecemeal something and throw it up haphazardly and then end up with a mess out there. So hopefully we can follow the master plan as funds become available. And but in the meantime, people are enjoying it. So it's right now they're actually planting, the ag department's planting gardens out there and different things like that. We have Boy Scouts just about every weekend, and so the facility is being utilized. It's good, and we need to pursue this plan. But we have, you know, other needs also in the parish. So with limited funds, we just do the best that we can. And Mr. Gautreaux does a good job of stretching a dollar, I can assure you.
Councilman Lambert.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And yeah, I would have to say, yeah, we've had some changes since this last master plan. The main thing we want to look at here is what from ground up, we want multi-use of everything.
Right.
Baseball, swim, what, you want multi-use. You know, I'm visioning, you know, possibly holding a World Series or something of all of our parish recreation, from baseball, basketball, whatever, to, the land that you have, the hotels out there. This is what we really need to look at.
And it's been programmed. I mean, I don't think there's anything that's not really covered as far as a segment of the population. There's enough open land out there so that you can have multiple uses for different activities. I mean, different things can be programmed. I mean, you've got swimming, baseball, soccer. You could do football. You've got spray park, dog park. I mean, walking trails, fishing. So just about every segment of the population is going to be covered, and what may not be covered can be programmed into the open space that is there.
I have a question. As far as I didn't hear you say anything regarding any type of multi-use indoor facility. Everything you said so far has been per se an outdoor facility, but how about for volleyball, basketball, any type of
We have
indoor?
a community center planning in one of the latter phases that would double as a natatorium community center. You could have offices in it. You could have basketball, volleyball, and what have you. And that's down the road, but that is programmed in there as well.
Yeah, President Martinez?
We do have a gym there. The Y used to be there with a workout room. There's also, we've been meeting with a group that, like in St. Gabriel, they have indoor volleyball, soccer facilities. And I met with Patrice a couple, I guess, maybe 6 or 7 weeks ago, and we discussed swimming. There's 600 kids that leave Ascension Parish to swim because they don't have a place here to train. And we talked about a natatorium, maybe doing a cost sharing. And I mean, we're looking and exploring all ideas. When we actually had the meetings, a lot of the people that showed up were it was about swimming because they didn't have a place to train. They had to go to Baton Rouge, and so one of the barns out there could actually be converted very easily into a indoor Olympic style pool. The 4-H building, that was something that we are discussing now. I'm trying to get a cost factor on how much it would actually cost to facilitate an indoor facility, Travis. So we are looking at it, and including several sports, not just one sport.
Yeah, that's why it's about the multi-use indoor facility, because
Yeah.
I know we have
Yes.
numerous baseball fields, and like
Right.
for that, I know Lamar Dixon has the one indoor facility there now, but something larger that has more space to host more events or to host.
Actually, we're looking at the 4-H building. It's 75,000 square feet, and making an indoor facility there. So, but
And the
we
second
don't-
question I have is
it's
regarding
just a plan. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to.
Right.
But we are talking to a group, the same one that do the programs in St. Gabriel, and just to try and get a cost factor on what it would cost. We have the facility. The problem is to operate it.
And my second question was regarding to the citizen committee. How are the individuals being picked for that citizen committee? 'Cause this is my first time hearing about this.
Yeah, O'Neill's working on an ordinance for that we brought to the council, and, I mean, it would be picked by the personnel committee,
Okay.
just like any other commission.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
The next is the status of the baseball programs, the East and West Bank. The East Side baseball programs have a total of 1,736 kids participants for the 2012 season. We have 550 in T-ball, 481 in baseball, and 403 in softball. Those numbers are down by more probably 250 to 300 kids from last year. You know, so I think a lot of it is tournament teams and all. A lot of kids are playing tournament ball now and all. And say we lost about 250, 300 kids. The boys' baseball game started last week. The girls will start in 2 weeks from today, and T-ball games will start on April 16th. And adults have a spring co-ed league again this year, along with the men's league. We have a total of 275 participants for the 2012 spring season. Also, West Side Baseball, the registration is still open. I talked to Mike Medine this afternoon, and that registration is still going on. It's going on until this coming Saturday.
Just one quick question regarding
Sure.
baseball. I know a couple of weeks back they had a problem with the baseball fields. I think double booked maybe with a tournament team and the Parish League. Has all those problems been resolved?
Where was that at?
I received the email. I don't have it right here in front of me. One of the baseball parks, I think, out in the Santa Mar area. I think they had an issue with a double booking.
Oh, no. We had a benefit out there for, and it was rented like a year, I think, almost a year ago for a little, benefit, and what happened was, we talked to the league representative and told him that we really couldn't accommodate them for the Friday and had no problem with that. But had a team showed up and they was gonna play no matter what. And it was handled, it's just a regular problem that, whenever, it wasn't double booked because they were told ahead of time, and they were also told not, but it still came, and we discussed this with the league rep, and it won't happen again. And also talked to the guy that came to the park, also.
Okay.
And I didn't give him a phone call, But something else I got to tell y'all too. We have also the tennis nets in for Donaldsonville to put on the tennis courts, and we're ordering the windscreens. And the tennis nets are going to go up more probably Monday or Tuesday next week for the tennis courts. And the windscreens will be ordered this coming week. Yeah. Does that cover everything?
I think so.
Yeah.
I have one.
Oh, Councilman Joseph.
Going, the Modest Park,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their playground equipment has been out there since the 70s, and, I mean,
You
they're
want
not in good shape.
Okay, you want us
Have we
to-
looked
okay.
at that and,
Sure.
come up with a plan to replace those?
Upgrade it, yeah.
And it's old iron, rusty
okay.
screws, it's shaped,
Okay.
and,
Sure.
the other
We'll-
thing,
we'll-
this wasn't
we'll-
my district before.
We'll address that, not this coming Monday, but next. We'll have
All
them
right.
out there.
It wasn't in my district before, but it's in my district now.
Okay.
And once again, look, I appreciate the climbing walls. They're great. But when you put the climbing wall under some oak trees and the branches fall and a kid fall off of that climbing rock and stab himself or hurt himself, I think we got a safety issue. And I wish you
We'll-
go
we'll-
look at that, reconsider that,
we'll
move that
move it-
in the
we'll move
playground
it.
area
Okay.
and make it a little bit safer.
All right. That was my first climbing wall.
Well,
But we'll take care of that.
all
Sure.
right. And then that's,
Yeah. And also, we did have a league that played at Modest this last year at night, the adults played for, we started a little league, and I think they played 8 games out there.
okay. All right.
Anything else?
Thank you, Governor. Appreciate it.
We had two people signed up to speak, and I called the first one, Charles Dunn Jr.
Item number 5, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, for item,
If he's finished, then go into number 5.
you was finished, Mr. Gotro? Yeah.
Yeah, how you doing? I'm here for number 5 with the fairground. I was approached by a man and said that the park that's behind the Whitney Bank, they're trying to put a fire station and a public works facilities back there, and that part has been in there since I've been coaching softball since I've been 19 years old. And I'd like to know, is that recreation, or y'all gonna put a facility back there? Now, I'd like to know, why would y'all put a fire station on something that's considered for recreation, and you can buy land on side of Walmart, and you can put a school out in Canefield, and you want to take something from the kids? I've been in this game 25 years. I had 200 little girls softball, and I had to fight the city to go to certain parks. One park was Modest Park. When he's not here no more. He was a good representative, Alvin Thomas. Now, you got to get charged $250 to use a park that was free all those years. And we would like to know why you got to pay $250 and you're gonna put a fire station where recreation's supposed to be, and you could put that anywhere. Why are you gonna take something from the kids? You can't get the kids to come to the park now. Downsonville, West Bank, I haven't heard too much about West Bank since I've been here. Everything is the East Bank. $10,000, I spend $200 a whole year. So you trying to tell me you need $10,000 to run a recreation for 200 little kids? And you're gonna take that from them? And like I said, I've been out there since I was 19, and I like to see my grandkids play out there too. And that's all I got to say. Thank y'all.
Call Mr. Peters, Mark Peters. And before you start speaking, state your name for the record.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mark Peters. The name of our organization is Hope Youth Development. We do golf, tennis, soccer, and flag football here in the parish. We started out doing soccer in Donaldsonville at the baseball fields, and then we were forced to leave there, and we started using the Lurie facility. At the present time, I want to thank you guys for the park that you were able to put at Lurie School in the front. With the soccer that we have going on, I did hear a lot of good words about the park, having it there for the kids while we're doing soccer. But because of the space, it has limited us a little bit on space. I do know that the property was purchased, the Fairground Association sold to the parish, and with that property being acquired now, I would like to know, do you guys have any plans on the facility that you guys purchased there in Donaldsonville for the existing open land or green space that you have there at this present time?
We're gonna let you finish, then we'll answer the questions.
That land that is there, we would like to work with you guys to possibly move soccer back over to that field. We also do tennis in Donaldsonville. I heard a few minutes ago that Gorney, they're going to redo the netting there. Also, there's no water fountain there at the tennis court. There's no restrooms near the tennis courts. The last time I went out there, we picked up grass off of the leaves off of the court. I think we picked up 10 or 12 bags of leaves off of the court. There's no seating out there. The seating that is there is seating that I put out there that was donated to me from another organization. So I would like to see or know what type of plans do we have for the land that was purchased in Donaldsonville, the Fairground Association. I would like to see more open space for soccer, more open space for basketball, more open space for spray park. Everything that we've talked about so far, we need to look at how we can attract kids and get them to exercise more. I know we have baseball, I know we have football, we do have soccer over there, but some kids don't do any of those. So we have to think outside of the box and find other ways to keep kids involved. And if we do not keep them involved with more kids coming along, we have a high rate of crime, not just here, everywhere. And I think if we keep kids busy, give them other avenues, I think some of that will die down.
Mr. Peters, a question, Mr. Chairman.
What you want to ask my question?
But the
Go ahead,
question was, do we
Councilman
have,
Joseph?
do we have any plans on the land that we've purchased from the Fairground Association for the other existing green space? Or are we just purchasing the acreage that we bought just for baseball? Or do we have any other plans moving forward to utilize that property?
Councilman Joseph.
Mr. Peters, okay, I would
Yes.
love to answer your question, but I want to ask you one question
Yes.
first. How many kids are in your programs, or how many kids you've been serving?
We
And
do soccer twice a year. We have 100 kids doing soccer twice a year for the last 8 years.
Okay.
I just finished a tennis program. Monday, we had 7 to 8 kids. But I think more people will utilize the tennis courts if they were upgraded. I worked on getting a grant to do the refurbishing when I moved from Houston. We refurbished the whole court. They sprayed the fencing. We put benches on the outside, and that was it. I think they finished on the lighting. They redid the lighting. All of that was fine, but you have to continue and move forward. Nothing had been done to that court, I would say, in 30 years. And once I got back, had more people utilizing the court, we were able to get the city to do something with that, and they took one step. But I think we need to take more steps toward getting it up to par, and you'll have more people to utilize the tennis courts.
We don't have any more public speaker cards, so I'll make a motion to close the public speaking period.
So moved.
Second it?
Could I address that?
Yes.
Mr. Peterson, I'd be glad to meet with you anytime to discuss this. We had talked about doing a little spray park and all, I think 8 months ago, whenever we owned the property and all, look at that, and the funds become available. But I'd like to meet with them, because I apologize for the tennis courts. That's my fault. I'm the director, and all, and I apologize for it. We've been trying to correct it. We've gotten all the grass off the fences and everything. We got the nets in. I met with Aja. Her and I met out there and decided what always to do with the tennis courts, so they will be refurbished.
Move to number 5 on the agenda, South Louisiana Fairground discussion by Councilman Oliver Joseph.
Yeah, and I bring up this to us. I went to a city council meeting about 3 weeks ago, and they had on the agenda that Lance Brock made a motion to get the city of Donaldsonville to change the zoning of the fairground from recreation to be able to put buildings on it. And I was really shocked at it, because I recall in 2009 that we requested those funds, and in the application, we requested it, that it would be for recreation for low, moderate income families in Donaldsonville. And that's what we put in the request. And now all of a sudden, that, no one, I'm a councilman, and I was totally unaware of that we was asking to have it be rezoned, and I didn't know we was donating property to the city of Donaldsonville for a fire station and building a DPW building on it. I mean, this is an issue that I'm really passionate about, because everyone I know on the west side talk about recreation. What's the kids on the west side going to do? There's nothing for them to do. When we had those public meetings, and we had 2 of them in Donaldsonville, regardless to this goose style money, and recreation was one of them, the public specifically said, yes, we have no problem with the fairground, purchasing it for recreation, but we wanted basketball, we want football, we want soccer. Those facilities out there, that facility is for that. We want a water spray park. We want a pavilion out there. And now, all of a sudden, at the last minute, we get a nice drawing at a city council meeting that they're going to put up a DPW and a fire station there. Is either this parish going to look out for the kids over here? I have to agree with the gentleman. It's about recreation for the east side, but what about the west side? Do not let these kids' property goes away for something that we're not asking for on the west side. We want it for recreation. That's what you told us it was for, and that's what I would like to remain it, for recreation. And this is what this discussion about, Mr. Chairman.
All right, move to number 6 on the agenda, the resolution. Oh, President Martinez.
I'd like to address Mr. Joseph's concerns. Certainly, it's been well known, and we discussed it here about the Public Works building being built on the fairground. We picked 3 locations. We looked at 3 locations. You were part of that discussion. So it's kind of hard for me to sit here and listen to you say that that was never brought to your attention, that you didn't know anything about it. But that was one of the sites that was picked. So I got a little problem with that. Now, as far as recreation, I mean, we talked about that too. We talked about a water park over there, which, as funds become available, that's something that we certainly want to do. You got an ugly red Public Works building over there. Basically, you don't want to put the cart before the horse, so you don't want to go and, before you get the zoning changed, to go ahead and do anything over there. But I always thought that you understood that what the city been asking for a place to put the fire department. I'm okay. It doesn't bother me. If you don't want, and the councilman over there, as the councilman, if you don't want the fire station over there, I'm okay with that. Just all you got to do is say that tonight, and we'll pull that out. You don't want the Public Works building there? Just say that. We'll pull that off. But that doesn't mean that right away we're going to go over there and do all this recreation, because we don't have a whole lot of money, as you know. We discussed that earlier. So, I mean, if that's the intent, you being the councilman that represents that area, and you don't want Public Works building there and a fire building, the fire station built there, just let me know tonight, and I'll just quit pursuing this. But, we couldn't do anything unless they had a zoning change anyway. So I'll pull it off the table. I'll pull off everything, but I wasn't going to come to this council and ask them for anything until the zoning was changed, because it would be fruitless. So anyway, whatever you want to do, I'm certainly amicable to doing that. If you want to pull those things off the table and those options off the table, I'm good with that. You just need to let me know.
And once again, guess what? Yes, DPW, take it off the table. And guess what? And the fire station, take it off the table. Because guess what? It's about the kids. It's all about the kids. And if you think I wasn't brave enough to say it, I'm brave enough to say it. It's about the kid, Mr. President. Okay? Let's build the recreation, the fairground as a recreation facility. We do Lamar Dixon, and we're looking at plans for it. Give the West Bank a plan they can look at. And the public can say what they want there. That's all I'm always saying. What the public on the West Bank want. Give them an opportunity to hear their voice. Not these things at the last minute come up and say it's already done. It's a done deal. We are the governing body. I would love to know the plans.
I'm not going to sit here and argue with you, Mr. Joseph, but for you to say that you didn't know about this, I find that hard to believe, and I'm okay with that. And it's all about the kids with me too. I wouldn't have pursued the fairgrounds, okay? And I've always said that that's what needs to be done. But also, again, you got an area there with a blighted building that I was trying to make some facades when you come into the city of Downsville that would look nice. So, again, I mean, if you want to grandstand about the kids, I'm for the kids too.
And
I do a lot for the kids here.
And Mr. President, guess what? I compliment you on purchasing the fairground. Okay? I compliment you on that. That's been a goal, and that goal was accomplished. Good.
Councilman Satterley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As a new councilman, obviously, I'm not overly aware of the time frame of all these things, but I do appreciate this vigorous discussion as to what happened when. I'm just wondering, is there any chance we could get some further information as to the timelines of all of this information as to who knew what, when, and so forth? Because I'll be honest, I spoke with Councilman Joseph about this outside of the meeting, and he showed me some documents that showed that this land, back when it was purchased, had a dollar amount on it, was, quote, at least in the documents I saw, dedicated for recreation for the kids. I too feel very strongly about that, and it may not be necessarily just a card laid as a card played, because obviously we need fire too, and we need DPW buildings and so forth. But I'm just wondering, is there any chance that there could be a compromise here and we couldn't have the best of both worlds? You know, maybe by putting the fire station, the DPW building, whatever, elsewhere and so forth. I mean, it's really perplexing here, and I'm not trying to get in the middle of something, but I'd certainly like to see a lot more information before we just go ahead and proceed one way or another with this. One of the things that's real important to me beyond the kids too, and beyond fire and beyond DPW, and I know I've discussed this with you, Mr. President, in the privacy of your office back when I was a Planning and Zoning Commission. We need to try to build as much as possible, or not even venture as far to say rebuild trust with the people. If the people believe, and we heard two people here speak tonight, Mr. Dunn and I guess it was Mr. Peters on this item, feeling very strongly about it, and one of them, of course, had an organization with a demonstrated use. That got my attention as well, but I'm just wondering, can we maybe figure out something that would serve everybody maybe a little bit better? That's really all I want to say.
I'm not responsible for fire station, Sally in Downsonville. They're gonna have to go out and pursue their own property at this point. DPW building, we have other options that we can look at, yes, sir. So we can do that.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, moving on to agenda item number 6. The resolution in support of the transformation of property described in Exhibit A into a parish park.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Question. Councilman Joseph.
Is this exhibit wild zoning? Exhibit A, what is exhibit A?
It's what we had at in our council packet last week, I believe. I don't think we have it up here.
It is from the,
That's the
yeah, from
resolution
the last council meeting.
off of John LeBlanc, I'm sorry.
This is a piece of property that the health unit had bought 6, 8 years ago. I think it was an acre of land, maybe a little bit better. And it was going up for shares, for surplus sale of property. And I talked to Ken about it, about making a park out of it. And we've taken it, cleaned it up, and cut the grass and everything. And we could do a little pavilion and maybe a little playground area. It's right on that big boulevard coming in, and it was just an idea that we could expand our recreation in another area. So.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Gunn.
Okay.
We had a motion made by Councilman Lambert and seconded by Councilman Lawson. So, passed. Moving on to agenda item number 6, discussion of recreational grants by Martha Collins, grants officer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council, or commission rather. I was asked by Chairman Turner to come before you tonight to discuss recreational grants and then look for some direction on maybe some of the things y'all would like to pursue. Currently, we have 2 grants that we have done with the recreation, plus appropriations that came out of the legislature. The Recreation Trails Grant is out of the governor's office, and we have utilized that 2 or 3 different times. And then the Land, Water, and Conservation. Most of the parks that we own right now were purchased with these funds, but they are very restrictive in what can be done on those parks. So those are the two that we currently have used. And then the appropriation was for the Oak Grove Community Center and Recreation Park. So that's one that we've done and are currently working on with going to go to the Director of Recreation. We have talked about several other areas in which we could do. Actively talking about the lighting, the cost of lighting, trying to look at funds for solar lighting. That has been something that we've been asked about several times. Equipment, those type of things, it's hard to find, depending on how much we're looking at, the needs. So we rely on Mr. Gotro to help facilitate the needs of what the parks, their needs across the board for the parish, and then we'll go out and look and inquire about different funding sources. And the grants that we have, you understand, most of you already, that when you take grants on, there are a lot of restrictions on how the money can be utilized and the outcome of what the requirements are for the long term. So in some cases, if the funds are available through the parish, then the idea is to do it through the parish where you have a little more flexibility. That does not mean that we don't go out and look for grants for the different departments, but there is some considerations on how and what we approach for funding. So we're here to, as I indicated, we're working with Mr. Gotro now on something that came across from the legislator. Representative Berthlot sent something to us that possibly we can do a park with basketball. It's repairs to the basketball court. I think we're looking to get approval from the administration for us to move forward on there. There's no match, there's no amount. It's just certain criteria of what you can use the funds for. And that's basically what we're using right now. And I'll answer any questions that you have.
Keep up the good work.
I mean, and I think the hardest part that we deal with is actually knowing the project, having the needs list, so that we can go out and research and try and partner with existing funds and parish funds, and then actually the state agencies. Everyone's cutting back, so we want to make sure if we go out for something, that it's the right fit. Sometimes going out for funds and we go out and get a grant, it's not really the best thing for the parish. And we look at that every time we approach applying for applications for across the board for grants. Because there's good grants, and then there's other grants that might not be as lucrative to us.
So Gordon, is that something you could get to Ms. Collins as far as a needs list of different programs or what's needed as far as the recreation department so she can seek out grants for those specific needs?
We've been talking for about the last 30 days about getting solar lights. We spending $800 and something a month on security lights all over the parish and the ballparks. And if we can get a grant for solar electric, for solar power, that would save us a good bit of money at the end of the year.
So we're moving towards that, it depends on what's, as far as lighting ballparks with solar lighting, it sounds great, but where do we get those funds and upfront and upkeep? Which we're looking at it from a business standpoint, that we get the solar lights up there and the cost of it, but what is it to maintain it? Because he has to have the budget. We can go into programs and do lots of programs, but once that fund is gone, then it's the parish's responsibility to take care of these. We don't want to put our departments in a deficit when we do a program just because it's a one-time shot, we can get money. We don't do that. So,
Question.
we'll welcome any suggestions or areas that y'all want. I know that we did talk earlier about the different recreation. A lot of it was your needs that you would like to see more in your areas, so we will be looking and working with Mr. Gotro on trying to see some areas.
Got one quick question. As far as sponsorship, have we looked into any type of business sponsorship or with any businesses as far as sponsoring any programs or different recreation programs?
That is not really in my
That-
area,
okay.
but what we can do is collectively work with, Mr. Gotro and see, if there's a park that needs certain things and the community wants to get involved in it, that's things that we could look at. I mean, it's been done years and years ago where the community built the parks. My father built a fire station. Today, you can't do that. So I would be happy to work with them and use my resources to do that. But when you start asking for funds, of donations, then you have to go through our financial with Ms. LeBlanc to make sure that any funds received by the parish are done in a proper manner. If you donate equipment or just different options, concrete, if they donate the concrete, do we have an agreement? What's the liability for those type of things? Insurance. So we'll be happy to work in any way we can to help facilitate that. And that's their direction on looking at the long-term for recreation. And then, actually staying the course is what will allow us to do better planning and get more funding. So I hope I answered your
You did.
questions, and, I'm happy to come back anytime y'all need me.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll move on to agenda item number 8.
We got fixing to close. Are we fixing to close?
Yeah.
I'd like just one closing. Just one closing. I'd like to thank the parish president, all the staff. Was 2 weeks ago, our little Apple program, we've moved it to Paula Park, and I really want to thank y'all we welcome and willing to do anything to help you with that. So thank y'all for doing that.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.